A crackling fire sent wavering shadows dancing across the canvas walls of the red tent. The woman inside, a sturdy yet gentle figure named Sarah, was huddled in a patchwork quilt, the warm hues of her surroundings mirrored in her hazel eyes. Her breath hitched as the wind howled, a mournful, lonely sound that pierced the fabric of her makeshift home. Her hands trembled as she lifted the silver locket that hung around her neck. An old family heirloom, passed down from generations, it was a symbol of protection and safety. Her fingers traced the intricate engravings, heart pounding with an eerie sense of foreboding. She glanced out the small entrance towards the dense thicket of trees that encased the campsite. The leaves rustled ominously, and a shiver ran down her spine. Shadows, twisted and gnarled, extended from the trunks like outstretched arms reaching for her. Fear gripped her heart as she observed a pair of glowing emerald eyes among the darkness. She remembered the old tales her grandmother used to tell her, stories of a shape-shifting creature that prowled these woods, preying on the unsuspecting. Sarah took a deep breath, her gaze still locked on the eyes. Her grandmother's stories always had one constant, a clue, a way to defeat the lurking evil. In this story, it was a song, a melody that the beast supposedly feared. As a child, she had dismissed these tales as mere scare tactics. But here alone, she felt a strange sense of belief creep into her. With newfound determination, Sarah cleared her throat and began to hum. The melody was a fragment of her childhood, carried through the years on her grandmother's lullabies. The notes rose into the air, hanging amidst the tension of the moment. For a moment, everything stilled. Even the wind seemed to hold its breath. The eerie glow from the forest flickered, then disappeared, leaving nothing but the shadowy outlines of the trees in its wake. The melody seemed to have worked. Her heartbeat slowed, a sigh of relief escaping her lips. But then, the ground beneath the tent started to rumble. A low growl echoed through the forest, sending a fresh wave of fear coursing through her. The song hadn't driven the creature away. It had angered it. In a moment of pure terror, Sarah remembered the second part of her grandmother's story. The melody was a twofold charm. It was meant to both repel and attract. She had only done the former, which left the beast furious and hurt. Now she needed to complete the song to draw the creature into the safety of the light. Gulping down her fear, Sarah resumed the melody, her voice shaky yet resolute. The beast roared again, louder this time, but she didn't falter. She sang, each note intertwining with the next, a harmonious beacon of hope against the terrifying unknown. Slowly but surely, the glow reappeared, closer this time. The ground trembled as the creature emerged from the tree line. Its form was unlike anything she had ever seen, a grotesque mixture of man and beast. But its eyes, those green eyes, held a touch of pain and loneliness. The song reached its crescendo, and with a final resounding note, Sarah fell silent. For a moment, all was quiet. Then the creature began to change. Its monstrous form shifted and shrank, leaving a man standing at the edge of the clearing. He stepped into the flickering light of the campfire, features hard and weary. His eyes, no longer a menacing emerald, were a soft, human brown. He glanced at Sarah with an unreadable expression before collapsing to his knees, exhaustion pulling him towards the ground. Sarah rushed forward, her fear replaced by a rush of adrenaline. She helped the stranger into the tent, laying him gently onto the makeshift bed. He was unconscious now, but his transformation suggested that the beast was at bay, at least for the night. As the adrenaline wore off, Sarah found herself once again alone in the tent, save for the unconscious man. She stared at him, questions swirling around in her mind. Had she truly saved him, or had she just invited a potential threat into her space? Only time would tell. Regardless, she couldn't shake off the feeling that her grandmother's stories were more than mere tales. They were warnings, instructions even, on how to survive in these woods. As the hours ticked by, Sarah found herself humming the same melody, watching as the man's chest rose and fell with each steady breath. The tent was still a warm, comforting red, but outside the woods were quieter than before. The mystery of the forest, the beast, and now the man lay heavy in the silence. The threat was no longer lurking in the shadows, but sleeping right next to her. As she slipped into an uneasy sleep, one thing was certain. Her stay in the forest was far from over.